Hello everyone, welcome to StudyIQ English. Today in 2025, the countries across the world are doing what not to control their carbon emission and to move towards a green renewable energy. Just look at India itself. Right from heading the International Solar Alliance to committing towards an economy that's based on natural gas, the ethanol blending program. Apart from that, even the whole new buzz towards shifting to renewable energy in the form of creating solar batteries, exploring more rare earth materials, and also India's very ambitious geothermal energy mission. But India is not the only country, of course. Across the world, all countries are trying to do everything they can to switch towards cleaner energy. Now, I agree there is a debate here because whenever you talk about rare earth material, like recently China has said, I want to control the export of my rare earth metals. That has sent shocks over the world. President Trump has responded by threatening China that once again the tariffs will be very high on China because all the countries need the REMs. We need electronic vehicles, we need solar cell batteries because we understand that geothermal energy is not an easy thing to harness. And in the same vogue, today we are talking about a development that has taken place in China. So, China is not only the leading commander, the leading supreme of supply chains of rare earth materials, but China also today has proven that it leads when it's come to innovative solutions. For example, China has now taken a step further when it comes to the first solar thermal power station that has been created in the Gobi Desert. So let's see what is the news related with that and how will it actually help the energy landscape of the world. So China once again, if you remember, you must have heard about China's artificial sun also. So China has been leading the world in many initiatives and today comes one more. So China has created a revolutionary, incredible breakthrough in renewable energy. It has created and launched world's first solar thermal power plant. And this power plant has a unique technology because it uses a two-sided, a dual tower system. So you can say there are two towers here. It is a dual tower system that is generating electricity in the area of the Gobi Desert. Now, why the Gobi Desert? Because the insolation, the input of sun's energy here is very high. It's a very dry area. We will look at it shortly with the map. So, this is an excellent area where China could have utilized the incoming energy from the sun. But this plant is very unique because usually all the solar plants convert sunlight directly into electricity. But here there is a new concept. The light received from the sun, all the energy received from the sun will first be converted into heat, steam. And from that, it will start pushing China's turbines. And then it leads to a constant flow of energy, which will provide energy even in cloudy weathers where there is no sunlight, even after sunset. So that's why it's a very revolutionary concept here. So it has been created by China's Three Gorges Corporation and it is using a 200-meter high tower. These are two towers that it is using, each 200 meters high. Both of them will provide energy to a single turbine system. The temperatures here will be as high as 570 degrees Celsius. That high temperature. A temperature which is good enough to melt any known thing. At that temperature, the energy received will constantly be converted into heat, which means the amount of energy is so high that even when there is no sun, suppose it's a cloudy day, even if it's happening after sunset, there is no breakage. The energy will continue to be supplied, and that's why it is an edge over the existing conventional solar energy system. It is not something that is challenging the solar energy, it is something that's complementing and only enhancing the solar energy domain. It will be used side by side the photovoltaic cells, the PV cells, which are about solar energy generation. It will use wind farms so that there is no breakage, no intermittent stopping in the amount of energy that's being supplied. And no wonder it's being celebrated as one of its own kind creation by China. Now, why was it created in the Gobi Desert? If you can see the map here, the image will show you the location of the desert. an area that's extremely arid, very, very dry, situated in North China, between North China and southern Mongolia, receives average 2 to 8 inches of annual precipitation only, with some areas receiving even less than that. So it's a very dry and arid area. And it is so dry. Plus, it receives extreme solar insolation, sunlight of more than 3,000 hours annually. And this makes it a perfect landscape for such an experiment. And that's what China has done today. Utilize the geography of this area, the climate of this area, the extreme dry and hot conditions to generate continuous power generation, power energy, solar energy. So this solar thermal power station will have two 200-meter towers, as I told you, which will provide energy to one single turbine that's been created. And it will be surrounded by about 27,000 mirrors, which will reflect the light, channelize the light. So 27,000 mirrors, which are known as heliostats. What are they called? Heliostats. That's the design of this equipment here. And the mirrors will concentrate, capture the sunlight and transmit it to the tower. The towers will create and capture the heat, which will reach up to 570 Celsius degrees, as I just told you, a temperature that is extremely unusually high. This energy will be stored and then it will be utilized to generate steam. The steam drives the turbine, which will allow continuous high voltage electricity production. It is an all weather friend. It will happen across all weather conditions, whether there is active sunlight or whether it's a cloud cover. No problems there. And that's why it's a reliable source now. Now, very unlike the usual conventional age old photovoltaic cells, solar panels, this will not convert sunlight directly into electricity. In fact, it will harness heat energy coming from the sunlight. So that's why it is a different thing, and that's why it's one step ahead of the conventional solar energy plants. So, because the energy demand the world over is on the rise, now look at countries with a higher consumer base, a higher population such as India, China, many other countries of South Asia, South America. Energy demand is on the high. Today, as various countries are constantly battling the need for more energy and the need to be environmental friendly, countries like India by 2070 who actually proclaim that they will become zero carbon. Now, all that cannot happen magically. It needs sustained efforts. It needs us to first achieve the short term targets. And only then we can look at the possibility of going carbon neutral by 2070, of course. So, this step of China perhaps is one such innovative one, which ensures a high degree of supply of power, that too under all weather circumstances. Now, talking about this plant right now, the Gansu solar power plant, as it is known as, it is a complex creation by China. It is a complex creation because for the first time it has combined, integrated solar, thermal, and wind power all together to create 1.8 billion kilowatt hours of electricity per year. While when you talk about reducing the carbon emission, it will successfully reduce the carbon emission by 1.53 million ton. That will be reduced, it will be avoided. So that's why it's a breakthrough technology. Because today, as most countries, including ours, are moving towards solar energy, as I said, geothermal is there, then we are also trying to create the amendment to the nuclear liabilities law by making sure that nuclear energy is also utilized for shifting towards green energy segment. Here comes China's invention, which integrates all of it together. So no wonder for UPSC GS paper 3, it's a very important topic. And yes, we can get a question on that. So do remember the name of the project, the Gansu power plant, one of its own kind in China, Gobi Desert. Exactly what's the technique being used and how will it help in providing continuous 1.8 billion kilowatt hours of energy annually. Now, on that note, India also is trying to move towards a very ambitious program by announcing the 2025 National Policy on Geothermal Energy. So, what is geothermal energy? Energy that is derived from the steam, from the heat that is existing below the surface of the earth, in the mantle, in the crust. This is again a clean energy. It's difficult to utilize and process that, but if we are able to do, It could be a great alternative to existing non-renewable conventional sources. So with this in mind, India has also created this policy. It is known as the Policy on Geothermal Energy, initiated by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy in India. The aim is to utilize 10 gigawatts of geothermal potential that India has to achieve its zero carbon energy goal, to provide a better ecosystem that works through private public partnership. Ultimately, the target is sustainable development. In India, presently, if you look at the geothermal landscape, it looks something like that. The GIF that you can see on the screen, the kind of heat and steam that's captured underground, has to be utilized. So it's 381 hot springs that are identified in India right now. And they are usually situated in areas like the Himalayan area, the Kutch area, the Cambay area, that is, then the Godavari basin and near the Aravali area. There are regions like Ladakh, Manikaran, Himachal Pradesh, Tatpani, Chhattisgarh. All these have been highlighted as a highly potential zone. So if the government is able to harness that, then that will be another feather in India's cap. As India is now the voice of the global south, one of the largest economies of the world, an addition of geothermal energy will only make the transition smoother for us. And now quickly let's analyze the question. It's a practice question for you. Consider the following statements regarding geothermal energy in India. 1. The Puga Valley in Ladakh and the Tatpani in Chhattisgarh are among the prominent areas which have been identified in India for geothermal energy. Second, the Geological Survey of India, the GSI, is the nodal agency for geothermal resource assessment in the country. It monitors what is the resource capacity of geothermal energy in India. 3. Geothermal energy plants in India currently contribute over more than 1% of total installed power generation capacity. You need to decide which of these statements are valid. It's an easy question. Try to answer. Let me know what's your response, but not just your response. I would want to hear from you your opinions, your take, your perspective on geothermal energy, China's new Gansu power plant. If you have any other alternative in mind, which will help us in achieving the zero carbon economy one day, then do let us know. It could just be a great space for overall discussion, exchange of ideas. And then before I take your leave, a quick reminder about the Great Indian Festival Sale. Yes, today is the last day, being 11th October 25. So if you are a part of the FastTrack batch that's writing the exam next year, well, yes, limited time is left. And too much preparation is naturally the need of the hour. So you can give your preparation a professional twist by applying for this fast track batch sale. Price is as humble as 7499 and the rewards are too many because you get access to GS Foundation course, all the GS papers. Optionals coming your way at heavy discount. There is essay writing, CSAT mentorship, current affairs, daily news, everything available within the course. And how can you do that? Using the code SPLIVE, you can take advantage of the sale. But if you want more clarification, fill up the form in the description box and we will reach out to you. We'll know that you are interested and we'll get back to you. Besides, if you are preparing for 27 or 2028, then also we have excellent programs for you. October batch is available, morning, evening. Across GS, optional, everything is included at a heavily discounted price, of course. In Hindi, English, and in English also. Same thing, either use the code SPLIVE or otherwise fill up the form and we shall get back to you. Even for the 2028 batch, well begun is half done and the course is as affordable as 33,999 only. But then today is the last day for the Great Indian Festival Sale. So make a difference to your preparation, and if you want any of these offers, do let us know. Thank you so much for being with us at Study IQ IAS.